Good evening and welcome to TV47 Weekend Edition. So how is Kenya's state of public health 3 years into the Kenya Kwanza government and into the reign of the PS for Public Service, Mary Muthoni? We'll be speaking to her on the Weekend Edition as we get to hear what she makes of the progress so far. I know you have lots of questions and therefore I keep the lines open so that you can interact with us later on. And of course we have prepared so much, including incredible features that you do not want to miss out on. My name is Linda Alela. Here are the stories that you expect. Top on news. Another day of cat and mouse games. Allies of former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua were blocked by police from holding rallies in Subukia.
Munakumbuka vile William Ruto alikuwa na campaign hapa. Alitembea kwa makanisa akasema kwamba yeye ni mtu wa kanisa na anapenda Mwenyezi Mungu.
Also tonight, I never overpromise. In fact, I raise the ambitions for the country.
Every promise I made, I intend to keep it in my term.
President Ruto now says he will deliver on all the promises he has made to Kenyans. And tonight we take you inside Kenya's intelligence-led war on terror and banditry.
Wakati iko hapa ilikuwa kuja hapa ilikuwa kama kiasi ya binadamu tumeteseka sana.
A special feature on Kenya's last line of defense against religious extremism and banditry. The National Intelligence-Led Special Operations Group, SOJ. Plus, activist Boniface Mwangi to be arraigned in court tomorrow after his arrest on Saturday over terrorism. Yes, once again, tonight's bulletin is focused much on the question of health, where we'll be speaking to Mary Muthoni, who is the Principal Secretary for Public Health as well as professional standards in the Ministry of Health. And also we'll be focusing on the question of security, and that is on the incredible feature that we'll be bringing your way shortly. Once again, my name is Linda Alela. I'll be assisted by Catherine Simaloi on the sign language interpreter's side. We go straight to it, where activist Boniface Mwangi is set to be arraigned in court tomorrow following his arrest on a Saturday night over facilitation of terrorist activities during the June 25th, 2025 protests. Our detectives say they recovered 2 unused tear gas canisters and 1 blank round, laptops, phones and hard drives. Human rights defenders have condemned the arrest, saying it is part of a growing pattern of arbitrary arrests and trumped up charges targeting innocent youth and anyone who dares to speak out in Kenya. Sheila Chelangat with the details of that.
Activist Boniface Mwangi, currently in custody at the Pangani police station, awaits arraignment on Monday, following his arrest on Saturday in connection with facilitation of terrorist activities during the June 25th, 2025 protests. Mwangi was arrested at his residence before being escorted to his offices, where detectives conducted another raid, seizing multiple items including computers, phones and documents. According to the DCI, they also found 2 unused tear gas canisters and a blank 7.62mm blank round, claims that Mwangi's lawyer says are false and only a scheme to charge Mwangi with terrorism charges.
We can confirm and we can state with no uncertainty that those are things that Boniface did not have in his possession. Those were not things that were in possession of his office, and those are not things that were brought to our attention. So we do not know why they are saying now that they're coming out with terrorism charges.
Human rights groups on Sunday gathered at the Pangani police station in solidarity with Boniface, insisting that the raid at his home and subsequent arrest were undertaken without any evidence of necessary court orders and no guarantees of his rights as an accused person.
This intimidation must end, and it must end now.
Coming for Boni is something that we saw coming. They've arrested many young people and on the same charges of terrorism, arson, and those are the same things that they're talking about Boni.
Human rights defenders have condemned Boniface Mwangi's arrest, terming it as the latest, most blatant escalation in Kenya's crackdown on dissent.
The goons and the thieves that we see, who are the true terrorists, are roaming free, being protected by the police. This must change today, and we will not remain silent. Only 51 young youth have been released. We have hundreds left.
Mawakili wetu, Jumatatu, there will be 100 of them to make sure Boniface Mwangi is out of jail.
Mwangi's arrest comes a day after filing a landmark case before the East African Court of Justice seeking accountability from the governments of Kenya, Uganda and Tanzania for his enforced disappearance, arbitrary detention, torture, inhuman treatment and indignity, including physical and sexual violence 2 months ago. Sheila Chelangat for TV47.
Thank you, Sheila. Now, President William Ruto says he never overpromises but raises ambitions for the country. The president says he will fulfill all his promises and reassures Kenyans of his administration's commitment to fully deliver on the promises made, as Chichi Josephine tells us.
Speaking in Machakos during a Sunday church service for the installation of Bishop Benjamin Kalanzo at AIC Bomani, the president reassured Kenyans of his commitment in delivering on every promise he made, saying he never overpromises, but rather has high ambitions for the country.
Mimi nimelaumiwa sana. I've been accused of overpromising. Mimi nataka niwaeleze, it is not overpromising. We are raising our ambition as a nation. Yes, we must strive to be better and excellent. That is my mission.
Ruto said while the government's agenda is ambitious, he is confident that it will be achieved by ensuring that no part of Kenya is left behind in development.
I want to tell you, every promise I made, I intend to keep it in my term. Yale nilisema kuhusu uchumi wa Kenya. I meant it, and it is happening. Our economy is growing.
While noting that he has no intentions of running away from his promises, the president reiterated his commitment in transforming the economy of the country as well as strengthening the health sector.
SHA is only 9 months of implementation, and the signs and the signals and the success is evident because ni commitment nilifanya. And it is a commitment I want to keep because that is what it is.
At the same time, Ruto has said that the responsibility of the police is dealing with criminals and not parenting, calling on the parents to be responsible in parenting and raising a generation that is morally upright.
The police are trained to deal with criminals. They are not trained in parenting. So, if you surrender your children to the police, what do you expect?
Other politicians were denied an opportunity to address the congregation. Chichi Josephine, TV47.
Allies of former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua were blocked by police officers in Subukia, Nakuru County, as they were trying to address their followers, and they were subjected to a cat-and-mouse game with police officers for the better part of Sunday. This is Gachagua continues with his tour of the United States, wooing Kenyans living in the U.S.
Sunday afternoon, a dramatic standoff between police officers and allies of former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. Police blocked them as they were heading to address their supporters. They accused the government of harassing them. After the standoff, they held a charged rally in Subukia, Nakuru County, where they condemned what they call state-sponsored intimidation.
Sisi tunakuheshimu lakini hatukuogopi. Unaweza fikiria sisi tunakuogopa kwa sababu tunakuheshimu. Tunakuheshimu kwa sababu wewe ni rais wa Jamhuri ya Kenya. Na wacha kulialia ukisema iko watu wanataka kufukuza yeye kwa kiti. Sisi hatufukuzi kwa kiti kabla siku yako haijafika. Tumekupatia tamu moja. Tamu ngapi? Tamu ngapi?
The leaders accused the government of betrayal, failed promises and economic mismanagement.
Munakumbuka vile William Ruto alikuwa na campaign hapa. Alitembea kwa makanisa akasema kwamba yeye ni mtu wa kanisa na anapenda Mwenyezi Mungu.
In the United States, Gachagua continues with his political mobilization to rally support from Kenyans living abroad, which is being seen as a strategic comeback ahead of the 2027 elections.
Lying requires some intelligence, some innovation, some creativity. Asikuwe ni mtu ya kudanganya watu just like that.
Gachagua is on a 2-month tour of the United States where he lauded Kenyans living abroad for their pivotal role in sustaining the country's economy. Speaking during an engagement with Kenyans living in Boston, USA, Gachagua emphasized that remittances sent by Kenyans living abroad now surpass earnings from exports like tea, coffee and tourism.
We're going to have a responsible government and we want to create mechanisms for you to come and invest back home where you shall retire when your time is up to stay here.
Gachagua has called for reforms to make it easier for Kenyans abroad to send money home, stressing that their contributions are essential to sustainable development. He also used the platform to outline his political vision, urging the diaspora to remain engaged in shaping Kenya's future.
We want you to invest so that when you come home, kazi yako tu ni kungojea dividends, kusoma gazeti, kwenda saloon, na kupumzika ukikula mali yako pole pole.
Also tonight on TV47, we pull back the curtain on a hidden war waged in the shadows. In this exclusive report, we take you deep inside the secretive world of Kenya's elite Special Operations Group, SOG, a unit forged by the National Intelligence Service. Trained with precision and shrouded in secrecy, the elite warriors have taken the fight directly to the terrorists and bandits, striking with devastating impact. Now, for the first time ever, we offer a rare glimpse into their recruitment training and high-risk missions. TV47's Sydney Chazima brings you an exclusive look inside Kenya's relentless war on terror and banditry.
For years, they have operated in the shadows, unseen, unheard, but always there. They are Kenya's last line of defense against religious extremism and banditry. The National Intelligence-led Special Operations Group, the SOG. Forged in secrecy, trained for precision, and deployed with deadly intent, this elite unit has waged a hidden war against the most dangerous terror threat on our soil, the Al-Shabaab. For the first time ever, Kenyans will witness what has remained off limits until now. This is the untold story of Kenya's elite warriors. My name is Sydney Chazima, and the Shadows of Valor begins now. Kenya's encounter with terrorism began after the first major blow came on August 7, 1998, when Al-Qaeda orchestrated a devastating attack on the US Embassy in Nairobi. This tragedy marked Kenya's entry into the complex world of international terrorism, exposing vulnerabilities in its security apparatus. The rise of Al-Shabaab, a Somalia-based militant group with ties to Al-Qaeda, brought a new chapter of violence. Kenya's decision to deploy troops to Somalia in 2011 under the Operation Linda Inchi aimed to curb the group's cross-border incursions, but it came at a cost. In September 2013, Al-Shabaab struck Nairobi's Westgate Mall, with the siege leaving 68 people dead and several hundreds wounded. The 2015 Garissa University attack, which claimed 148 lives, mostly students, was equally a stark reminder of the group's brutality. Since then, Kenya, through intelligence-led efforts by the National Intelligence Service (NIS), has fought back, strengthening its security forces, enhancing regional cooperation, and investing in counter-terrorism. Our journey towards understanding the role of NIS in counter-terrorism efforts takes us to an undisclosed location deep in the heart of an arid county of Kenya.
In the blistering heat of Kenya's arid terrain, a storm is brewing. Not of chaos, but of precision. Here, in undisclosed locations, Kenya's elite Special Operations Group, the SOG, is sharpening the spear of intelligence-led warfare.
In the course of this story, some keywords will stand out. One is intelligence-led war against terror and banditry. And two, the word SOG. We begin with the latter. The Special Operations Group is an elite unit formed by the National Intelligence Service. It is a highly trained force specializing in high-stakes operations against terrorism and banditry. To make the cut as an SOG operative, one has to undergo rigorous physical routines that encompass drills, push-ups, and other exercises to build stamina, strength, endurance, and discipline. Other than physical routines, an SOG operative will go through arms exercises. Here, recruits are trained and equipped with capabilities in the art of stealth.
Recorder number 1.
And combined warfare, often incorporating live fire scenarios. For example, this 3D training facility ensures that an SOG operative acquires the skills to shoot in 3 different directions while in motion. In case of an ambush in a conflict zone, a quick reaction force of operatives is equally trained to tactically combat and rescue their colleagues. Operatives can also specialize in marksmanship through the use of specialized high-precision rifles for long-range shooting, or what you know as a sniper. At this undisclosed training school, SOG operatives are trained on how to handle several weapons, ranging from the 12.7mm Dushka machine gun that is essential for ground targets, the deadly 23mm Zoo gun that is critical when engaging low-flying targets at a range of 2.5 kilometers, as well as armored vehicles that are within the range of 2 kilometers, among other highly sophisticated weapons. From the gun handling and drills, SOG operatives also simulate situations where they have to neutralize high-value human targets from extremely dangerous locations. And here, we are made to understand that failing to plan is planning to fail.
During the planning process, the making of a tentative plan is the most important part. That ensures that you have to make sure that you analyze all the 7 parameters that include the mission. You have to analyze your mission, your men, the critical commanders and the combat leaders in that operation. They must understand the mission and they must know their role in the plan. As part of the planning, SOG operatives are made to understand the high-value target's location through surveillance photography and conducting a reconnaissance. If you look here, is a blueprint of that building, the compound of this objective golf. They are going to be conducting a raid in this location, and then they are going to be picking the enemy high-value target. We have now breached the door. Al-Shabaab operatives are synonymous with improvised explosive devices that they plant on routes plied by locals and sometimes SOG operatives.
Another one, it's here. This is a bra. It is bra. So you see a beautiful lady walking somewhere. So wearing bra.
To counter this, SOG operatives are trained on how the explosives are assembled and ways to avoid or defuse them.
The switch is a complete IED. When you press here, you are dead. These are ball bearing. If each one get one of these, you are dead. And one. Okay.
In the chaos of war, every moment is seconds away from danger. Combat situations expose operatives to risks beyond enemy fire, shrapnel and explosions that can turn any mission deadly in an instant.
This person maybe he was armed or he had communication gadget.
To prepare for these high-stakes realities, SOG operatives undergo rigorous medical training.
Broken bones.
From the basic first aid to advanced trauma care.
Secure his leg. Then after doing that, I will check if he is hurt at the back.
Operatives learn to stabilize their wounded brothers and sisters in arms. There is a lot more detail that goes on into the training of a fully fledged SOG operative. And from this undisclosed training school, operatives are then deployed to various locations within and along the borders of Kenya. This is where the second common word in this story, intelligence-led operations, becomes very prominent. From the undisclosed training school, an SOG operative will land at a forward operating base, FOB. The SOG have set up several FOBs in the country. They include Kotulo, Ijara, Masalani, Hulugo, Gasereb and Ishakani. These bases are not just military-like installations. They are launch pads that the NIS has equipped with modern warfare systems and weapons. In the nerve center of each base, an SOG operative will put to use their skills in mission control.
They are in patrol and then...
Here, the use of intelligence, surveillance and reconnaissance, ISR, is key in collecting information. Images and videos gathered from the skies are essential in tracking enemy movements without detection. But technology alone doesn't win this kind of war. An SOG operative will rely equally on human intelligence. This is achieved through community social responsibility initiatives and operatives embedding themselves in the community. Deep in the villages along the Lamu-Minjila road, we meet this man known to locals as Mshike Mshike, who tells us he is a reformed illegal game hunter.
Mshike Mshike ni jina ambalo limetokana na shughuli zangu mwenyewe. So shughuli zangu zilikuwa za msituni. So naweza sema mimi nilikuwa mwindaji. Lakini kutoka COG wakuje niliondokea hiyo story.
Uko unawinda nini?
Wanyama.
Tueleze.
Nilikuwa nawinda wanyama kama viboko, nyati vile. Ndio ambao nilikuwa nashughulikia. Lakini sasa jamaa tangu wakuje wakanikuta huko ndani, tukatoana huko. So wakanifanya nikakuwa mtu mpoa.
Mshike Mshike is one of the many faces of the impact of the CSR initiatives by the SOG group. CSR initiatives like providing clean water, food supplies and medical aid are not just relief efforts, they are bridges.
The community shares information freely, knowing that Special Operation Group are friendly people. As you can see here, even we cross the border, these are the foods we feed them.
Through this, an operative drinks from the same cup, speaks the local dialects, and earns trust with locals.
Hapo nyuma mimi na askari tulikuwa ni watu watuelewani, hatukaribiani. Lakini kufikia sasa, unaona mimi na askari ni watu tunakaa pamoja, tunatembea pamoja, tunakula. Lakini zamani ilikuwa haiwezekani.
Wakati iko hapa ilikuwa kuja hapa, ilikuwa kama kiasi ya binadamu tumeteseka sana. Mvugo unaibiwa na hapatikani tena. Gari unapigwa na watu hapatikani tena.
This is the Shakani village right here on the border between Kenya and Somalia, which is approximately 5 kilometers to Somalia. And according to locals here, this area was inhabitable due to the insurgents of the Al-Shabaab.
Ikifika saa 11 ilikuwa tuko majumbani, hakuna ruhusa kutoka. Lakini sasa hivi waweza kukaa nje mpaka saa 7 saa 8. Ile time unaojisikia tu wewe mwenyewe nikae nje utakaa. Na ilikuwa time yetu ikifika saa 11 jifungie ndani.
Through casual conversations, marketplace whispers and shared burdens.
Niliwahi kufika Lamu, nilikuwa mgonjwa, nilikuwa na uvimbe kwa kichwa. Lakini ile bei ile niliambiwa nilishindwa kujitibu. Na mimi mwenyewe ni maskini. Lakini nimeshukuru kwa upande wa matibabu, nashukuru timu ilijitolea ikanisaidia. Ikanifanyia operation ndogo na nimesaidika.
Sisi uchumi wetu ni bahari. Kama siku hakuna masoko tumekaa kama mwezi wiki mbili wao watusaidia. Tuaenda tuavua, tuwapa wao mazao, tuwapata kipato pia kutokana na kwao. Wanunue ile biashara yetu.
An SOG operative will extract crucial information. Who's new in the village? Who's disappeared into the forest? Who's carrying more than just water on their donkey?
Saizi tunamulika zaidi kwa sababu chochote kile ni lazima. Manake zamani na sasa ni tofauti. Zamani unajua mtu anaweza kwenda mali yoyote, mtu anaweza kutoka, ilikuwa hakuna kuangalia zaidi.
Wallahi.
So mtu akiwa ni mgeni tu utamuona, utamuelewa. Ama kama mtu pia hayuko sawa, ni mtu ukimtazama tu utamjua tu huyu mtu hayuko sawa. Wewe unaelewa kabisa kwamba mtu kama ana mashaka, anajishuku, ukimuona tu utamjua.
When the intel is solid, the response is swift. Teams mobilize from the forward bases, slipping into the forest with surgical precision. It is a race. Speed and accuracy decide who lives to fight another day. Their targets: Al-Shabaab militants, bandits, weapon caches, and crossing points used to smuggle fighters across the border and main supply routes.
This is the Lamu-Minjila highway, which according to locals and security agencies used to be impassable in the several years before because of the constant attacks from the Al-Shabaab insurgents.
Wewe ukitaka kwenda njia Minjila, wewe uko na wasiwasi. Hajui kama utafika huko.
Right here we are with the intelligence-led security officers who are about to give us a simulation of how the Al-Shabaab attacks used to happen on this highway and thus disrupting the activities and making it impassable. So at this moment, the security officers have been alerted of the attack and the Al-Shabaab insurgents are making their way out of the bush.
Through this intelligence-led effort by the SOG along the Lamu-Minjila main supply route, Al-Shabaab attacks are now a thing of the past.
Kulingana na hali vile ya usalama vile mekuwa kidogo naona imearika ukilinganisha na hapo nyuma. Watu walikuwa wakivamiwa na hata mimi nimekuwa na ujasiri, nimetoka Mombasa nikaenda Lamu.
Since the establishment of this camp in 2018, the attacks are very minimal, and just as I told you, we have the static observation posts, whereby our teams are along this main supply route. So the attacks right now are very minimal.
Intelligence-led efforts are not just focused on internal insurgencies. Through a collaboration with Jubilant forces from Somalia, the SOG group is keen on driving the threat of the Al-Shabaab as far away as possible from the Kenyan border.
This is border post 29 at Ras Kamboni, and these concrete walls behind me demarcate the difference between Kenya and Somalia. And according to the Special Operations Group, the security between the two borders is paramount.
Tukipata information ya adui yote tunaenda pamoja na tunapatia support. Jirani wetu wa Kenya wanafanya kazi na pamoja na sisi vizuri.
SOG operatives don't just thrive on dry land, but also the vast volatile waters of the Indian Ocean. Driven by real-time intelligence, these elite teams are the silent guardians of the Lamu Port, South Sudan-Ethiopia transport corridor, the LAPSET. They operate at the intersection of counter-terrorism and maritime security, intercepting threats long before they reach shore. In the war against terrorism and banditry, silence is often louder than gunfire. For years, Kenyans lived with the dread of sudden attacks, buses bombed, schools targeted, and roads turned into corridors of fear. But today, from the forests of Boni to the trading centers in Mandera, from the hills of Elgeyo to the shores of Ishakani, that fear has begun to fade. According to data from the NIS, in the past 3 years, terror-related attacks have dropped by 67% and banditry incidents in the North Rift have reduced by over 60%. Over 120 coordinated terror plots have been intercepted and several weapons have been recovered. But behind these numbers lies a pain point for the intelligence-led efforts. NIS Director General Nurdin Haji has been candid about the resource constraints facing the intelligence-led war. According to the NIS boss, the agency was allocated 51 billion shillings in the 2021-2025 financial year, a figure which was 14 billion shillings less than what NIS requested. Still, these men and women move forward, and for the millions of Kenyans whose lives they safeguard, their silent service is the reason a child can walk to school, a bus can reach its destination, and a market can thrive again. And while the world may never know their names or see their faces, every day Kenyans will live freely because the shadows never sleep. My name is Sydney Chazima, and you have been watching The Shadows of Valor on TV47.
Enlightening piece right there. Should I say massive respect to the elite squad, massive respect to Sydney Chazima and the entire team for picking up that for us. And of course, at this very point, we want to shift gears. We'll be having that running on our socials so you can watch some more. But yes, as earlier mentioned, we'll be focusing on security, done with the security beat, and now to the health beat. Ms. Mary Muthoni Muriuki is my guest this evening, Principal Secretary for Public Health and Professional Standards, Ministry of Health. Thank you so much for finding time.
I'm grateful.
Karibu sana. They say that PS or PR. PS or PR, I don't know whether it's based on facts and figures of the table, the good things that you're doing as PS and the Health Ministry, or is PR that perhaps we need to look into. Allow us to take a short break and then we come back on that very note. All right, after this break.
Kids and families, get ready for the most fun-packed show around, Kids on the Block. Join us for awesome music, magical storytime adventures, and super cool arts and crafts. Plus, we pop tasty treats in our cooking corner. Learn, laugh, and create with us. Kids on the Block, where every day is a brand new adventure. Don't miss it.
Rise and shine with the ultimate morning power play from Monday to Friday, 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. Join Fred Indemuli.
Time for us to take a look at the headlines this morning
as he takes you straight to the heart of the nation on Morning Cafe. From breaking down political intrigues to unpacking the stories shaping our country, this is where tough questions meet hard truths.
The president says he has cancelled, then they say, Igwe.
Stay ahead, stay informed, and stay connected. It's your go-to morning fix on politics, policy, and the pulse of the nation.
Raila Odinga has put Kenya's interests first for many times.
The State of the Nation with Fred Indemuli, Monday to Friday, 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. only on TV47. Your morning, your nation, your voice.
Well, they say that development speaks for itself. The many times you're probably going to see the CS and think it's all about PR. It's because she is confident that what she is doing and what the Ministry of Health is doing is in good for the people of Kenya. Do you suppose that is the case? Of course, the lines are open for you to interact with us. Once again, Mary Muthoni Muriuki, that is Principal Secretary for Public Health and Professional Standards in the Ministry of Health. Thank you so much for creating time. Mheshimiwa, this evening we focus on policy development. We focus on preventive and promotive health services. We focus on healthcare workforce. We focus on food quality as well as the question of nutrition, health research, quality assurance, and not forgetting the numerous bills that have been presented to make sure that the above mentioned are, seen to fruition. The reason why I pick these particular areas is simply because they sit within your very docket, because we understand that the Ministry of Health houses two different PSs. We are going to focus on you tonight. And even as we speak about the numerous strides that we have made in the health sector, the quality of health and patient safety bill comes to question at this very stage when we're talking about, the concerns that we get to witness in the country. A latest case, of course, we do not forget the occurrence that is playing out in the Kenyatta National Hospital. Is there anything you can say in relation to that, putting in mind that this is not the first time this is happening? And amidst all this, there are lots of secrecy shrouded into the activities down there. What's even worse is that we look at a facility that is huge, that houses the East and Central Africa, yet we are told that the CCTV cameras are not functional.
Thank you very much, and thank you so much for having me tonight. First, I want to correct that I am a PS. So I'm the Principal Secretary,
right,
for purposes of those who have listened to you. And before I delve into that question of Kenyatta, I want to first say exactly what my State Department does, what I am, what's my mandate. That is in that State Department. And the first on the list is the public health regulation and policy implementation. Anything to do with policies around public health.
Right.
We are the ones that we develop and we are that are related to public health. Number two, coordination of disease prevention and controls. That is still within our mandate in regards to public health policies and managing health emergencies. Then the second one, which is standards and quality assurance. I know you've touched around that.
Yep.
It is also our work. So we establish standards for health service delivery. We equally monitor and evaluate them. All healthcare facilities, we are able to assess them. Then number three, regulation of healthcare professionals. We register them. We license them. And that is why we have KMPDC, the Kenya Medical KMPDC, Kenya Medical Practitioners and Dentists Council. We have Poisons Board. We have Nursing Council. We have COC, the Clinical Officers Council. So we register them and we also license them. Again, we also are able to ensure that the professionals conduct their businesses in an ethical manner.
Right.
That is why even in SHA we have introduced a code whereby if you are a medical practitioner, a doctor, and you're going to operate in a theater, then you're able to enter your code. We will know it is Dr. X who is operating patient Y. Then again, we are also in charge of training and capacity building.
Right.
We have our premier mid-level college, the Kenya Medical Training College, KMTC. So we support continuous development and training of professionals. Equally, we have postgraduate on needs basis. When counties, maybe you need an obs-gyna from a certain county, then we are the ones who take them for training.
Right.
Again, we are in charge of collection of data, surveillance, and any data management. Remember, data is useful and very critical in regards to planning, And this data that we collect through surveillance, we are able to plan better. We are able to know how much money we request during budgetary allocation. And finally, health promotion and education, which is also very, very critical. The Bible says, your people will perish for
lack of knowledge.
Lack of knowledge.
That's true.
So we must keep the people knowledgeable at any given time. Keep telling them to wash their hands. Don't assume that it's something which is very easy and something that they will remember.
Okay.
Just remind them. So I thought it's good I put that into perspective on what my State Department entails as we delve deeper into, indeed, what have we been able to do around.
Hence my question.
Around that.
And I think I highlighted this that you have talked about, yes.
Yes.
On the quality.
So you started on the quality of care.
Yes. And the health and patient safety
bill. I had put for you
particular.
some few notes which I'll leave with you because we are in the process of public participation.
Right.
And I would want to convince you why we really need the quality of health care and patient safety bill 2025. When the government came into power, Kenya Kwanza government, the first thing that we did was to come up with acts that are aligned to facilities, you know, professionals, but we forgot the patient. You know, we forgot the patient. And that is why it is very, very important to ensure that we establish a comprehensive legal framework to enforce standards on quality of healthcare across all sectors, whether private, public, or faith-based. The way we treat our patients, it should be standard, and it should be entrenched in the law. Many a times is when I look into the media and I feel so sad when patients have to record themselves and send videos, you know, so that they can get justice. It shouldn't be like so. It should automatically be, there is a legal framework that tells you if you're mistreated in a facility, this is where you report. And this is what will happen. Then the second one, we want to establish a national authority that is going to regulate the quality standards, monitor compliance on those facilities, so that if we know facility X is mistreating patients, then we have the authority to go and reinspect or even revoke their licenses. And we also have that authority that will accredit the license, they'll inspect, and they will also be able to rate the health facilities. We will be having maybe 5-star facilities, you know, depending on the rating that you have been given, just like hotels, the way they do it. Then the other thing is the standardization and accreditation. We have our KMPDC that has been licensing and accrediting at the same time. Now, you are a doctor, all right? You have a facility. And there's this institution that licenses you, accredits you, and does everything. There's conflict of interest, of course. So we want to separate that and ensure that there's uniformity in the way accreditation is done, and there's national quality standards for registration, for licensing, for accreditation, for inspection, and categorization of facilities. We have seen facilities that are level 2 operating like level 4. And those are the ones that make patients die on the patient's bed.
Until then, Madam PS.
Yes.
Because I'll find myself calling you CS so many times, but I'm telling you should be saying amen to that. Something must surely be happening, because until the bill is passed and assented to law, we still are having these concerns that we're talking about. Hence my question, on how best we can ensure that there's safety in hospitals, both for the workers and the patients. The question of compliance still becomes a problem, like we rightfully admit that, you'll have a level 2 hospital that is acting like it's a level 4. Hence, the reasons why we have some of these problems. We still have queries on the question of compliance, especially with public standards and professionalism. And of course, on the question of the health workers, most of the fingers are pointed to them, because then we get to see these problems. Until the bill, is successful and assented to law, what is happening?
You see, it's not that we are not doing something. There are already institutions that are mandated to do that.
Right.
And I'll keep mentioning our KMPTC, the Kenya Medical Dentist and Practitioners Council, which is mandated to inspect, accredit. But we have realized there could be conflict of interest in the process, and that is what we want to sort, to separate issues. If it is licensing of healthcare workforce, it will be done by a different institution. Accreditation and inspection of facilities, then let it be done by somebody else different, so that we don't have to mix all this, which is bringing a bit of problem. We already have institutions that are in charge of healthcare workforce. The doctors have their KMPTC. The nurses have Nursing Council. The clinical officers have the Clinical Officers Council. And any other cadre, they also have their own councils, including Nutrition Council. So coming back to the facility, I know I may not want to delve into that case, because it's already a case under investigation. Right. And it would be very disrespectful if I start discussing matters of security in a national TV when we do not have the report. I would ask you and our viewers to be patient, so that we can get the report, and then we can be able to discuss or dissect what went wrong, what can we do moving forward.
Okay.
Yes.
If we, before we leave this space where we're talking about the safety as well as the quality of healthcare, just how deeply engaged are the unions, as you have mentioned, in terms of forming this bill, or perhaps in terms of, just giving proposals or them voicing their concerns? Because it's one thing, and it's very common, especially with the health sector, where, we get to see policies that have been projected, and then later on, you invite these unions, you invite, health specialists on board, and they're like, we said we gave our proposals, but, the ministry decided to just sweep them under the carpet. So how involved are they, and just how much can you guarantee them that their proposals are going to be put to consideration? No, we are working very closely with them. Okay. In fact, the last meeting was between the Ministry of Health and the healthcare cadres, and we are in agreement that we need this bill. We need to move forward. We need to protect the patient. You see, just like we are talking about, I know you have seen on TV recently when we are talking about bed capacity, that we have facilities who are registered as maybe a level 4, and your bed capacity is maybe 300, but your admissions go up to 1,000. You see, so that means there are people who sleep on the floor. So these are the kind of standards that we are talking about. I don't think you will be happy if you went to a facility and found your mother sleeping on the floor. And probably that facility will still charge SHA to pay for that. And I'm glad that you bring that up, because, of course, yes, the non-bed sharing policy is one of the questions that I wanted to ask tonight. So how does then the ministry intend to build capacity, that is at both county and national hospitals, to ensure that the policy is enforceable across, even though we understand that health is a devolved function? Just how are you working in synchrony with the counties?
We do not have patients for counties and patients for national government. A patient is a patient.
Okay.
And when you talk about the roles of national government and county government, they are very clearly stipulated. The national government role is to develop policies and training, and the counties implement. In fact, most of the facilities are at the county level. So implementation works there. But we still have the role of oversight. We still have the role of inspection. We still have the role. So it's up to us to up our game and ensure that those facilities are meeting the standards. And if they don't meet, then we close them.
Okay.
It's as simple as that. But so far, so good.
So far, so good.
So far, so good. I know you want to know, and you gave me this at before we started, and
Right.
you wanted to know what exactly have we been able to do for those 3 years that we have been in existence.
Hold it. We're going to come to that. But we're going to come to that. We really are going to come to that. So I want us to ask this question, which is in relation to what we've just discussed.
Maybe the questions you're asking me are going to be answered by that.
But you know now.
So you'd rather allow me to talk and tell you,
no,
and then you can ask me the question.
Question answer fair. I'll come to that. You see, they say that many hospitals, because we're talking about beds, I don't know whether you're alive to this reality that today in many hospitals, you see that the beds are empty, it's vacant because the patients cannot afford. And I really wanted to avoid the question of SHA, but you have mentioned it a couple of times. The president today has spoken about the fact that SHA is working. I don't know whether that's the report that you're giving him and whether this report resonates to what it is that is on the ground. That today we really are seeing patients going home simply because they cannot afford the full 1 year payment of SHA. My own mother sent me actually not sent a message before she even knew that I'll talk to you. She was like, well, this 1 year thing, you know, sometimes you pay for different people who are actually not working. How are we going to make sure that we keep this money until we make an annual payment? You know, most of us, you know, are hand to mouth kind of people. So when you get your 300 bob, your 500 bob, you want to remit it almost immediately. When you're trying to remit, you're told you cannot do that. You need to do this annually. How do we ensure that, you know, the patients do not end up suffering at home and that every other Kenyan, regardless of their levels of cadres, or, you know, are met, their concerns are met?
Thank you for that question. And I want to confirm to you, SHA is working.
Okay.
And if we have to go granular, we need to go to specifics. That so and so went to this facility, the facility's name is this one, and this is the experience. Secondly, we listened to the pain of Kenyans. Even that 1 month paying, some people could not afford. And that is why we introduced the SHA, Lipa SHA Pole Pole.
Okay.
Many patients would go to hospital. Maybe you're from Mjengo or Mama Mboga. You know your money comes on a daily basis, depending on the sales. So they would go to hospital. You are admitted first month. You had paid for just that 1 month, but you exceed the number of days you expected to be there. Maybe you stay for 2 or 3 other months. By the time you're released from the hospital, you have a bill. Because one, your SHA is not updated at that particular time, and you're still in hospital. So you start to kuchanga, you know. So that has really given us a push to help the patients, to help the citizens, to be able to pay their annual pay pole pole.
Is this practical?
And this is,
Are they well aware about it?
It is very practical. Probably we may not have given the enough information of how it should be, and that is the sensitization that we are doing. And that's why I'm here today, to also explain to Kenyans what this Lipa SHA Pole Pole is. That if you cannot pay your 3,600 at once, then the government has given you somewhere to get some money from Hustler Fund, the 3,600, so that you can start paying monthly depending on your ability.
Why must it be coined with Hustler Fund?
I mean, it is just one of the sources.
Okay.
We could be having many others that are coming on board. In fact, we've already approached many other financial financiers who can be able to also offer their products in the SHA. So if you feel that you want to get the money from a certain bank, which will be in that in that line, then you can either pick from Hustler or any other.
So this is going to be a loan?
No, it's not
because
alone.
What is Hustler?
It is not a loan.
Okay.
This one is not a loan.
Okay.
This one is interest free.
Interest free?
Yes.
Okay.
You know, Hustler Fund and SHA are two different things.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
It is only that Hustler Fund has money which can
help you fund
people who, so that they are able to pay for the whole year. All right? And it is interest free.
Okay.
Nobody is going to tell you to pay one more coin above what you.
So what are you telling this Kenyan who says, I can always afford to get my 300 bob every month and pay it comfortably? What are you telling them? It
what
must
I'm
be
telling
an annual affair?
What I am telling them is that the money,
to the Hustler Fund?
You can go to Hustler Fund, you can be given that money
one time,
and then you'll be paying the 300 the way you wanted to be paying per month.
Okay.
But you'll be now returning the money that you have been given.
What does this
It's
do
as
to the
easy
old
as that.
mama who is in the bundus, who is just worried about their condition and must always make these payments for sure? What happens to them? Because you see, we're talking about universal health care.
Yes.
I don't know whether you people have factored in the importance of this. I mean, to this old woman who has always known that my style of payment is this, it's this, is this, is this. How do you religiously get them off that space?
You see, if even me and you, if you're able to pay for a whole month or for a whole year, and you don't have a problem, remember, you're not actually just paying for yourself. You're paying for you and your family.
That's true.
Because SHA is covering for you. If you're a man and you're the one who is paying, then put your dependents plus your wife. Okay? And if you're a lady, then you will put your husband plus your children. So again, this is a matter of sensitization, which is now upon us, to go down and really explain to the public why this is very important.
And I'm sorry to ask this, yeah?
Very critical for
yes,
them.
It's very important.
Because you do not want to receive calls on your phone from your mom, as you have told me, because probably her SHA is not updated for that 1 month, okay? But if you are able to cover for the whole year, and this time the government is telling you, here is the money.
Okay.
We will give you that money that you don't have.
Okay.
And you can be paying that 1 month to return that money you did not have.
What difference, Mheshimiwa, if I'm going to just submit my payments on SHA? And, you know, because if I'm going to take it from Hustler, and then every month I'll have to be making the payments, it's the same thing as just paying.
Those are two different institutions.
Okay.
And this is insurance. You know, the stability of SHA is dependent on me and you.
That's true.
Okay?
So if the money is
So
remitted,
if you do not pay, how will we do the capitation for the facilities and the primary health care, which is free for you and me and my mother?
Some civic
all right?
education from
That is why I am here tonight.
Thank you.
Because
allow us to take a short break. Allow us to take a short break.
The minute I convert you, you have allowed...
I have the capability to
You have the capability to actually tell Kenyans on a daily basis what I'm telling you.
Okay.
And I'm here to tell you facts. Right?
Fair enough. Allow us to take a short break and then we come back on that note. Yes.
Hey kids and families, get ready for the most fun-packed show around, Kids on the Block. Join us for awesome music, magical storytime adventures, and super cool arts and crafts. Plus, we pop tasty treats in our cooking corner. Learn, laugh, and create with us. Kids on the Block, where every day is a brand new adventure. Don't miss it.
Rise and shine with the ultimate morning power play from Monday to Friday, 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. Join Fred Indemuli.
Time for us to take a look at the headlines this morning
as he takes you straight to the heart of the nation on Morning Cafe. From breaking down political intrigues to unpacking the stories shaping our country, this is where tough questions meet hard truths.
The president says he has cancelled, then they say, Igwe.
Stay ahead, stay informed, and stay connected. It's your go-to morning fix on politics, policy, and the pulse of the nation.
Raila Odinga has put Kenya's interests first for many times.
The State of the Nation with Fred Indimuli, Monday to Friday, 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. only on TV47. Your morning, your nation, your voice.
Business opportunities are like buses. There's always another one coming. Richard Branson.
No more excuses. It's time to rise, grind, and own your mornings. Join Coach Shadrach Oma every Monday to Friday from 5:30 to 6 a.m. only on TV47. Full body workouts, zero equipment, maximum results. Start strong, stay strong. TV47 Fitness with Coach Shadrach only on TV47.
All right, PS Mary Modoni is my guest tonight. I know we did not want to talk about SHA, but we have found ourselves talking about it. Whether it is working or not, it is for you to go out there and experience, but Madam PS says it's working. The president himself says it is working, of course, in the teething problems, just, trying to jostle around and see whether it works for the people. We can only wait to see. PS, allow us to shift gears. Or there's something you wanted to say about that? 1 minute.
Because
1 minute to that. Yes, proceed.
You are using words which are pushing.
Okay.
Number one, we are not going to wait to see SHA working.
It is working.
It is working.
Okay.
So I want to confirm that. It is working. And I want people now to go to specifics. Tell me which facility, where it has not worked for you, who attended to you, so that we are able to fix issues. Even you, if you start a project in your home area or even here in town, there are those places, whether it's a building you have built, there are those areas that you'll keep fixing every now and then. And it's continuous, continuous progress.
I can tell you my phone is ringing, And I know all these people want to ask something to do with SHA. Please, the lines are on your screen. In case you would want us to answer or the PS to answer something, we have the lines, the office lines that are on your screen. Please make sure that you use that channel so that we're able to speak to you and project your voice as well. I want us to hear something about the position of community health initiatives that were introduced to advance Afya Mashinani. I think I remember I was somewhere when, of course, the event was happening and the commissioning, and this was made known to the country as well, the coming in of community health promoters. I have personally hosted a couple of them here who are very appreciative of what the government has done, but are questioning that in as much as the government has done this and that to make sure that we are compensated, at least we get something out of it. We really do not get, what it is, the tools that we want to use on ground actively so that we can enlighten the masses on the very many things and the very many new policies that are being presented by the government. Just what's happening down there.
Okay. First and foremost, if you look at where we are coming from, the launch of universal health coverage 2.5 years ago, and the introduction of SHA that we have just spoken about that replaced SHIF, the rolling out of a social health insurance fund. Then we had the community health promoters. These are just the highlights of the achievements that I can talk about. The rolling out of the community health promoters was a game changer, is still a game changer. 107,831 community health promoters. And their work is very basic at the bottom of the pyramid. Checking blood pressure, blood sugar, reminding mothers and caregivers to take their children for vaccination, you know, ensuring that mothers go for prenatal and postnatal care, and ensuring that mothers go to give birth in hospitals so that they are taken care of by a skilled workforce. And of course, checking common childhood ailments at the community level. Talk of diarrhea, you know, and advise them. As at now, as at this evening, we have had our community health promoters having assessed 36 million people for diabetes, that is blood sugar, and 24 million people for blood pressure. And out of that, they have sent or they have referred more than 400,000 people to a health facility for further assessment. That means there are people who are going on with their normal lives. They didn't know they had diabetes. They didn't know they had blood pressure. And they are taken their vitals and they are referred to a health facility for further assessment. We, as a government, we have increased focus around preventive care. That is why the community health promoters exist. They have a kit and they have a phone, a smartphone, just like that one of yours.
At that time of trying to help people register SHA, there were lots of complaints from them, but anyway, I can only hope that they've been sorted.
Yes. That time it was a different story because of whitelisting, because again, if they had to register, sometimes they had to use data, their own data, but that's something which was sorted. So we are focusing more on preventive care, just to ensure that we have people and education at the bottom of the pyramid. The community health promoters' work is basically that. Each community health promoter is assigned 100 households. And each community health promoter has a phone that they collect data with. Initially, the community health promoters never used to be paid. Even my own sister used to be a community health volunteer. And she never used to be paid. Our own house used to look like a small clinic because you had GV and all that, bandages, a first aid kit. So the same, but this is an improved version of the community health, the community health promoter, because they have a kit. The kit has commodities and equipment for work, tools for trade. Number two, they are paid, at least a stipend, something to say you have done well.
Thank you.
Okay? And this is something that never used to happen from time immemorial.
You know what they tell me?
Yeah.
Most of them, like you say, they used to do this without being paid. Their satisfaction comes with building a connection with some of these patients that they are working with, and to actually see them walk the journey of managing their conditions or even getting well. I speak to a majority of them on ground, and they say that if there is something that needs to be escalated, the first places they would go to is level 3 and level 2. One of them tells me today that facilities at level 2 and 3 are closing down because SHA is not working at the level given. SHIF funds start at level 4, while PSC funds seem to be insufficient to cover primary health care needs, leading to ridiculous low benefit package. For example, in 2,000 for dental per family per year. What would you say about this?
About the closing down of the facilities, maybe I would want to know which
facilities.
Yes, because let's not generalize. I have said on issues SHA, we must stop generalizing because we know there are those places that it is perfectly working. Number two, the facilities are getting capitation. they are getting reimbursed for the patients that they have already treated. It would be important, and this is what probably we should have discussed first about the laws that we came up with in 2023. I should have taken you through the 4 laws so that as we come to that question, we are able to understand that the committees that are supposed to run those facilities come from the community itself. It is you and me who come from that community, representative of women, representative of youth, representative of the religious leaders. So if the facility is closing, then the committee is not doing it.
There's a problem, yeah.
Because they are supposed to do the oversight. When they get that money, they are supposed to sit down and a budget. What do we require? So why would a facility be closing if your money has been paid? We have facilities that have received incredibly higher amounts of money than they have ever received in their existence, you see? And if they have received more money, then they are supposed to plan for that money, to know about improvement of infrastructure, employment of healthcare workers, commodities, so that people stop saying we do not have drugs in the facilities. And equally, taking care of patient safety around the facilities. Therefore, it would be important maybe we go specific on those facilities because probably they are also operating above their ability.
Okay, like you had earlier mentioned.
Like I had earlier mentioned.
This specific
and
person is from Machakos,
let me just go back to the laws that we set up we developed in 2023.
As long as we make them tight so that you can answer these numerous questions.
Yes, no problem. Even if you want me here tomorrow, I'll come back and answer the questions. Otherwise, public health is so huge, we may not finish everything tonight. So number 1, we came up with the Digital Health Act of 2023. That is why our community health promoters have gadgets. Initially, they would carry very heavy books going around the villages and checking people. You know, today it's just a dial of the button, and they are able to record your name, record your vitals, and send, you know, in which that is transmitted on my desktop. And I'm able to know how many people have been assessed today. I've given you data. This is real-time data of 36 million people who have been screened for diabetes. And 457,000 of them have been referred to a health facility for further assessment. On children, 9 million children under the age of 5 have been assessed, or they have come into contact with a CHP. So this is data, real data. So Digital Health Act was to help interrelatability of data. And right now, we have digitized all our facilities, whereby you don't have to repeat your stories from one facility to the other.
Can I ask a question in line with that? So that, I'm sorry, it's because I want us to tackle data and then move to the next one, so that we don't have to go back to the question that I have. Now that you're talking about the same, how will you ensure that patients get the right medical professional contact at first, you know, or maybe professional at first contact? Because then, for example, how will you ensure that an expectant mother then goes ahead to meet an obstetrician, do they call them that way, at the first contact, so that, you know, you ensure that they get the highest standards of care, you know, because there's a lot of mismanagement that is happening.
Health professionals have their levels of operation. You don't expect to find a CHP in level 2.
Without doubt.
Okay?
Yeah.
Because their work is at level 1.
And they know it.
And they know it. You will not expect to find maybe, let's say who?
A dentist in a different...
Not even a dentist. You don't expect to
clinical
find...
officer.
No. Clinical officers are at all levels.
All day.
But you don't expect to find operations being done at the lowest level of facilities in level 2. Okay? Level 2, you'll find either a nurse or a clinical officer. Because even the equipment in level 2 are basic. All right? So that is how referral system works. At level 4, that is when you probably will be admitted.
Okay.
Because maybe of complications, because it is a secondary facility. And we can go to even further, to check further diagnostics for somebody, depending on the kind of ailment you have been prescribed. Therefore,
no cause for alarm.
There's no cause for alarm at all.
Okay.
At level 1, you will find the CHP in the villages. And they are simply just checking. Are you okay? You know, they'll find out if your children are okay, if they are malnourished, if they need some vitamin, you know, and they'll be able to dispense of the same.
All right.
And then if you go to the facility, then you expect a more skilled person, like a nurse, who can take your vitals again and refer you to a doctor,
all right,
possibly. Yes.
Okay, fair enough. That was on the digital. We want to talk about finance?
Yes. Digital Health Act of 2023.
Okay.
Then we have the Primary Healthcare Act of 2023 that takes care of the mashinani facilities, or the level 2 facilities and level 3.
Yeah.
Again, they also touch on the CHP. Remember, the CHP right now, their role is entrenched in law. So we are able to know what exactly does a CHP do. What exactly will you find at level 2 or level 3? So at the Primary Healthcare Act.
Yeah.
We also have something called the PCNs, Primary Care Networks. A primary care network is geographical mapping of facilities within the same locality or the same geographical area. That is why when you get into SHA, there's a list of facilities that comes on your screen.
Okay, you're advised you can use
I don't know if you have registered.
I have.
Okay.
To be honest, I
then
have.
you must have come across the facilities that are in your area, and you're told you can choose your primary facility. So that is the primary care networks. And already we want to have 315 PCNs across the country. Number 3 is the Social Health Insurance Financing Act of 2023. And the Social Health Financing Act of 2023 is the one that holds SHA. The SHA is the authority. It's actually the house that houses 3 funds. And one of the funds is the Primary Care Fund. The Primary Care Fund takes care of the primary care facilities. The level 2, level 3. That is why you're not supposed to pay if you go to those facilities, because it's exchequer funded. Then we have the Social Health Insurance Fund, which is a harambe between me and you and members of the public.
Right.
We pool resources together. Then finally, we have the emergency, chronic and critical illness. Initially, you'll find you have accidents, you're taken to a facility. Before you give a deposit, you cannot be admitted. That's a thing of the past, because everybody has to be treated equally, whether you have an accident or you have gone because of flu or any other. We are looking forward to having availability, accessibility, affordability, and acceptability of quality healthcare across the country. And the
What
final
about
one,
utilization?
the final act, let me finish. The final act is the Facility Improvement Financing Act of 2023. This is to ring-fence funds that are meant for health. You would see initially when budgets are read and within the year we reallocate and it's taken to roads.
Yes.
There's a bridge that has been swept away, and we take money for health and it goes and constructs a bridge. Money meant for health must remain in health, whether from exchequer or it is donations, or somebody has decided, now I'll be funding health. All that money must remain there and must be budgeted accordingly in the health sector. So those are the 4 acts that we first came up with, because every structure has to have a base. And if you have a base which is weak, then even in the future, that house will give you problems. And that is where we are adding the quality of healthcare and patient safety bill.
Okay.
Because we realized we did all that about infrastructure, money, you know, a healthcare workforce, digitalization, but the patient has not been mentioned anywhere.
All right.
The quality of care that is given to that patient. Are you going to come out of that facility happy, or you're going to come out of there saying, oh, daktari hata mimi sirudi hapo tena?
Well, fair enough. Lots of questions. I don't know what we're going to answer to or not.
Put
now that
them
you mentioned
together,
donor,
and I have told you, and I've told you I
come
will
back
come
tomorrow.
Yes, even if
Easier
you want
said.
me here every day.
Easier said than done. You'll be in I don't know what county and all that county.
No.
But anyway,
but
we have correspondence.
Yes,
across.
you have correspondence
I
across
agree.
the country.
I agree.
So I'll be ready to answer questions.
This is a question that, you know, on the question of USAID, now that you mentioned donor funding, how is the government planning to ensure normalcy, especially for HIV and TB programs? I know I have also hosted officials from the health sector, and they have confirmed that all is well. Is all well? Is that what you can confirm?
All is well. There's no cause for alarm.
All right, no cause for
and
alarm.
nobody will go without being treated or without drugs for HIV, for malaria, for TB, because we have to repurpose and ensure that we are restructuring our programs to align and also do a bit of also reallocation to factor in. The government has also gone ahead to ensure that we are allocating funds towards that. We are also open to allies.
Well done. All right, well said. I have very many questions from the interns, you know, who are asking, ask the PS, what is the fate of the 400 nurse interns who are unjustly and unfairly not part of the internship list? And I'm telling you, intern questions are like 60 of them. You might need to respond to that. Another person is asking, ask the PS whether the digital tracing in health facilities is connected. Reason being, a patient who reports at level 2 and 1 and 2 get the attention from level 5 or level or 5 without telling the members who deliver the patient. This way, the services of the ambulance is readily available. I think it's just basically on the connection all the way up the tree. You can respond to that, yes, first before we get to the next.
Okay, the question of interns, tell them we are telling them that issues to do with healthcare workforce, we are handling it. And we will handle from end to end, from college to postgraduate. And you can see a lot of issues have really gone down right now. You are not seeing the mini strikes that used to be there because we have engaged consultation and conversations. We will no longer be doing things haphazardly. If it means to sit down with a cadre so that we can discuss issues and that are surrounding that cadre, then we will do it. So even the issue of interns, they should first be very happy because we have been able to post the interns in good time, at least as promised, you know. And my CS is working very hard to actually see that this issue of internship, perennial problems around internship, is going to be a thing of the past.
Because our time is almost out.
Oh,
Preventive
really?
and promotive is
and I've
within...
not even said anything.
Hold your pace, hold your pace. Preventive and promotive health services that sit under your docket. Could you please just allay fears without getting into the details of all this talk about, you know, we have this vaccine coming on board, we don't have the confidence about it, without getting into the details? Or if you want to get into the details, we'll be happy as well to hear from you.
Any vaccine that is given to people in this country, whether it is vaccinating young children or vaccines for grown-ups, is safe. As long as it is coming from the Ministry of Health, it is safe. And I'll tell you, because I have seen in the past parents coming out and saying, oh, my child reacted. You know, people react differently. And that's why we encourage, if it is vaccination for children and your child has reacted, don't first pick your phone to rant on social media. Rush the child to hospital. Because children react differently, and also grown-ups may react differently. So the remedy is to ensure if you have rashes or anything, then go to hospital and you'll be treated.
Well said. In your parting shots, I want you to tell us what you feel about the performance of the Kenya Kwanza regime now that you sit in it, 3 years and counting, and what should Kenyans expect?
We have finished the show.
We have finished the show, that's like that.
Really,
Oh, yes.
As part of government, we have done the very best. And the promises that have been made, we have achieved a lot, and especially in the health sector. We have achieved a lot in terms of insurance cover, ensuring that everybody accesses care. The universal health coverage is key to every human. And you know, we are not doing Kenyans like it's not a privilege, really. It is a right, okay? So we are doing this because it is in the Constitution, to make sure that everybody accesses care. Everybody is able to afford care. Everybody is able to get quality health care as it is enshrined in the Constitution. And we ride on the word kaizen, as Japanese said. Continuous improvement. We may not achieve 100% at a go, but I can tell you for a fact, this is a game changer for the whole country and for the citizens of this country.
P.S. Mary Muthoni, thank you so much for your time, and of course we're looking
But
forward
may
to
I
hosting
remind,
again and again. Yes.
You know, being the public health PS,
right.
I always like reminding Kenyans, please wash your hands.
Right.
Personal hygiene is paramount.
It's critical.
Because most of these ailments that we have in the society are actually very basic, and they come because of that. So personal hygiene is very critical. Environmental hygiene, with climate change issues, the extreme weather conditions, whether it is more rain or more heat, is a problem.
Right.
And again, water and sanitation. Our country still has about 15 counties that practice open defecation. It's going to be a shame in the 21st century that we have people who have no latrines.
We hope the government
We
is looking
are
into that.
encouraging everybody, every household, at least to have a latrine. I am happy with the housing program because some of those people who live in slums will be upgraded in other, in better houses where there's a toilet and sanitation is going to be managed better.
All right.
Therefore, personal hygiene, environmental hygiene, water and sanitation.
It begins with you, Principal Secretary for
Begins with
Public
you
Health and
and me.
Professional Standards, Ministry of Health, Madam Mary Muthoni Muriuki. Asante sana.
Asante pia.
All right, let's take a break.
Nikuje kesho.
Nitakupigia simu utaona tu. Yaani tena nitakuja hapa kwa TV kuambia watu alisema atakuja lakini amesema ako busy. All right, after the short break we come back with more news.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hey kids and families, get ready for the most fun-packed show around, Kids on the Block. Join us for awesome music, magical storytime adventures, and super cool arts and crafts. Plus, we pop tasty treats in our cooking corner. Learn, laugh, and create with us. Kids on the Block, where every day is a brand new adventure. Don't miss it.
Rise and shine with the ultimate morning power play from Monday to Friday, 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. Join Fred Indemuli.
Time for us to take a look at the headlines this morning
as he takes you straight to the heart of the nation on Morning Cafe. From breaking down political intrigues to unpacking the stories shaping our country, this is where tough questions meet hard truths.
The president says he has cancelled, then they say, Igwe.
Stay ahead, stay informed, and stay connected. It's your go-to morning fix on politics, policy, and the pulse of the nation.
Raila Odinga has put Kenya's interests first for many times.
The State of the Nation with Fred Indimuli, Monday to Friday, 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. only on TV47. Your morning, your nation, your voice.
Welcome back to TV47 Weekend Edition. To more stories, Kenya Kwanza leaders have issued a stern warning to politicians, urging them to stop interfering with Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission's IEBC's mandate, as this could compromise its operations, as Micah Gwongo reports.
National Assembly Speaker Moses Wetangula has cautioned that the continued political meddling could derail critical processes, including the long overdue boundary review, pending by-elections, and the nationwide registration of new voters.
Ile tunaomba viongozi hasa wa kisiasa muache kuleta siasa isiyo na maana kwa IEBC, tuwaachie wafanye kazi. Let's leave them to settle in so that they can acclimatize and start working.
Speaking during a function at Kilgore's constituency Sunday afternoon, Wetangula said reckless remarks from some politicians threatened to undermine the credibility and legitimacy of the IEBC.
Bunge wangu mlioko hapa na wale wengine, tukifikia makadirio ya pesa hata ya supplementary, tusaidie IEBC kwa kuongezea pesa wafanye kazi, ili tukifika uchaguzi ujao tusiwe na shida yoyote.
This comes after Wajir lawmaker Fatuma Jeho claimed President William Ruto will win the 2027 polls by all means, openly suggesting that leaders from the northeastern region will compromise election results in benefit of the head of state in 2027 elections if the region's numbers are not enough. Her sentiments have since sparked mixed reactions from a section of leaders who have also called for IEBC and NCIC to summon her in efforts to strengthen the electoral body.
The women rep of Wajir County specifically has said that she is going to steal votes for William Samoei Ruto. Personally, and our community support William Samoei Ruto. But then again, why are you causing fuel and tension and fueling tension in this country?
Nchi yetu ni nchi ya amani, hatutaki uharibifu wa mali, hatutaki damu imwagike.
Wetangula stressed that the Commission's plate is already full, overseeing voter registration, auditing and cleaning the current register to remove deceased voters, and undertaking long-awaited boundary delimitation.
To register new voters, they have to clean the old register and remove dead people. They have to clean the old register and improve to bring in new voters. They have to look at the boundaries ya constituencies ya mini wana nafasi ya kufanya, lakini ya wards pengine watafanya.
Wiper Party leader Kalonzo Musyoka also issued a stern warning against the new IEBC chair, cautioning against being used as a tool to subvert democracy. Kalonzo emphasized that this revolution will not be rigged.
You should expect the natural consequences of your action. Hii ni nchi ya demokrasia, and we shall tell it as it is to you. Ukifanya haki mbele ya Wakenya wenzako na mbele yake Mwenyezi Mungu utabarikiwa.
The IEBC has since clarified that it has neither declared nor gazetted any elections for 2027, and therefore the country is not in an official campaign period. Mike Kagwango, TV47, Nairobi.
All right, and the Kenya Methodist Church that is MCK, is facing growing unrest, particularly in Meru County, where 10 bishops have been petitioned for removal amid accusations of poor leadership and financial mismanagement. The current president or presiding bishop, Isaiah Day, has also been accused of extending his term limits. Mudhoni Brenda has more on that.
The Kenya Methodist Church clergy and the management has put the presiding bishop Isaiah Day on notice.
After extensive consultation, prayers, discernment, and deep commitment of our church constitution and standing orders, we announce the intention of change of guard in the office of the presiding bishop, effective in the coming days.
The church management has accused the top bishop of overstaying his set term limit. According to them, the bishop has defied the laws of the church, which dictate that bishops should retire at age 60.
Overstaying in the office beyond retirement age. Our current bishop, we've continued to stay in the office over 60 years. That will be against our standing orders. Then there is also obstruction of transition and the manipulation of the processes. That's have been spoken earlier. Meona vile anaunda komiti zingine hata zieleweki na kufanya mambo ambayo we are not anchored in our standing orders.
Age limit and the set term are not the only issues behind the unrest. The clergy also cited irregular minister placements, lack of transparency, recycling of officials and negligence in the management of the church.
Then people are saying, how can we be changing presiding bishops everywhere, everybody I asked, when I was general manager and I hired a manager, if he did not qualify in the first 6 months, I fired and hired another one.
Concerns include the controversial 10-year lease of the Gitanga property, alleged abuse of the church projects, and stalled reforms.
Negligence, stewardship of the church properties. This has been mentioned and a few of us have discussed it. I've put it in the limelight that there is a failure to safeguard critical church properties in Gitanga, Kitanga Road, Kilimani, and other properties.
Financial issues are also at the center of the crisis. No financial reports have been issued in 2 years, staff deductions have not been remitted, and the church faces a 44 million Kenya shillings tax notice from the Kenya Revenue Authority. With bishops unpaid since December and staff salaries delayed, frustrations are mounting.
Ile pesa KRA wamepeana notice ikolektiwa kwa Methodist Church, and has appointed a managing director to do that. Pesa yenye ijalipwa Kenya Revenue Authority amounting to 44,528,899. This is the money yenye Kenya Revenue Authority inatundai. This letter was written to the Methodist Church on 10th April 2025.
The clergy further explained that there has been no update on the pension fund, and there are growing fears that church properties may be sold to cover debts. Mudhoni Brenda for TV47, Nairobi.
Thank you, Mudhoni, for that. Now, a Kenyan delegation led by the Principal Secretary Labour, Shadrach Mwadime, has returned from Germany, where it held meetings with potential employers following the signing of the bilateral labour agreement between the two countries last year. The delegation, which also included the National Employment Agency Director Edith Okoke, met German government officials as well as the German Chamber of Commerce to discuss job opportunities available for Kenyans in Germany. PS Mwadime explained that the meetings were successful and pointed out that the labour market is ideal for young and well-educated Kenyans. He further stated that German teachers will be deployed to Kenyan universities so as to teach the German dialect to Kenyans interested in working in the European nation.
We are here in Germany
as a follow-up of a bilateral labor agreement that we signed with the Federal Republic of Germany in September last year, and there was need for us to operationalize the bilateral labor agreement. So we are working very closely with government of Germany officials, but also the Chamber of Commerce and Industry that brings together all the major players in the economy to appraise us concerning the job opportunities that are available, and therefore the object is to meet the owners of these companies through their association so that they can appraise us concerning the job opportunities that young Kenyans can occupy going forward.
And we now get sporty with just 13 days to go until the African Nations Championship CHAN kicks off in Kenya, Uganda and Tanzania. That is the 2023-2024 FKF Premier League. MVP Austin Odhiambo is ready for the big stage. Having earned a spot in Benny McCarthy's final squad, Odhiambo says this is more than a personal milestone. It's a chance to showcase Kenya's football talent on a continental platform.
It's a privilege to represent national team, and again it's a lot of pressure, same, because we have in a tournament in our home soil, Kenya. You have to represent the country good. Hakuna excuse ya play bad, so ni poa pia na pia ina come with a lot of pressure as a player. Ni tutajaribu tu tuweze kufurahisha mafano wetu, because hiyo ni motivation kubwa inafaa tukue nayo, that tutakuwa na crowd watakuwa behind sisi. So hiyo ni opportunity poa sana. Tunafaa tutumie crowd against opponent wetu. Believable, yani ni dream come true. Alafu pia ni opportunity poa, because kuna wadogo wananiangalia kwa community. So at least watakuwa karibu wanakuja kuwatch, itawapatia something, itakuwa ni kama motivation kwao, that something wanaweza push pia siku moja wa reach hiyo point. So mi kwangu naweza feel naweza sema tu ni poa sana na ni motivation poa kwa community yetu.
All right, and the anti-gender-based violence GBV activists and athletes have urged the government and lawmakers to enforce stricter GBV laws to curb the rising cases of violence and bring perpetrators to justice. Speaking in Iten, Elgeyo Marakwet County, that is during the Agnes Tirop Memorial 10-kilometer race held in honor of the late world cross-country champion human rights defenders, that is demanded harsher penalties for offenders. Tirop was murdered in October 2021 in a suspected case of GBV, and her partner and prime suspect Ibrahim Rotich was released on bail in 2023 and has since gone missing.
Leo to walk, tukimbie, tukikumbuka vile alikimbia hiyo reze, na pia tunataka haki itendeke.
It is so unfortunate that we are in this situation, and also together with the family, that they're still seeking justice all this time down the line. And it's just showing the systemic issues of femicide. When we talk about femicide, we say it's not just about the perpetrator, but also a part of a system that enables this to participate. You know, if a famous and an amazing woman like Agnes, who brought such attention and pride to our country, we are still not getting justice, what story is it telling about femicide in Kenya?
Now, Morocco is the top football country in Africa, and this is not by accident. The North African nation has preserved their history, highlighting the unforgettable journey of Moroccan football, where past, present, and future meet. Our very own Tony Kwalanda recently toured the Moroccan Football Museum and tells us why it is a must visit for soccer fans across the world.
The Moroccan Football Museum is located on the ground floor of the Royal Moroccan Football Federation headquarters in Saleh City, and it brings to life the rich history of Africa's powerhouse. Our tour kicked off at the special exhibition, which is dedicated to Morocco's FIFA World Cup history for both the men's and women's teams. I am taken through the key moments from the country's World Cup debut in 1970 to the recent 2022 extravaganza in Qatar. I remember watching the 2022 World Cup semi-final between Morocco and France in Westlands, Nairobi with my Moroccan friends. And here I am in close proximity with the balls, jerseys, gloves, boots, trophies and medals. They even went further to gather all newspaper stories, hard copy and online from across the world, which featured their top 4 finish.
Football in Morocco has always been supported and backed by the kings of Morocco, all the kings of our history. They are always the first fans of the national team.
From the temporary exhibition, we shifted our lenses to the permanent section, which is divided into 6 spaces. The first one presents a unique vision kickstarted by 3 monarchs who used sports as a tool for social unity and national progress. The next theme honors early football pioneers who laid the groundwork for Morocco's rise in global sports. The Land of Excellence section highlights Morocco's greatest outcomes, historic victories, shattered records, and unforgettable moments of national teams and clubs from the 1950s to the present.
There's a saying that goes, if you want to know where you're going to, you need to know where you are coming from. And Morocco has mastered the art of this saying. They have kept their football history so close to their hearts, and they have a museum full of their history from the early 1990s all the way to today.
Under the Hall of Fame, those who had an impact on Moroccan football are celebrated, including players, coaches, managers and referees. The Hospitable Land section reflects Morocco's role in hosting major sporting events and its collaborations with other nations, not forgetting important visits by football icons. The Land of Passion space celebrates the love for football by Moroccans and goes further by identifying some die-hard fans. Another section acknowledges efforts of those in esports, from players to referees to managers to organizers.
It's a way to see the history of Moroccan football, our achievements, but also some more historical things, like how the referees were doing their job in the 20s or in the 30s.
In early 2025, the doors of this museum were officially opened to the public thanks to the partnership between the Royal Moroccan Football Federation and the National Museums Foundation. Saturdays and Sundays are ideal for your next visit between 10 a.m. to 6 p.m.
The Football Museum here in Morocco has literally taken every detail into action. And you can imagine they have taken literally every A to Z aspect of Moroccan football history has been stored right here. I mean, this definitely, I can imagine Walid Regraoui, the coach of the national team, shouting instructions to the Moroccan team during their World Cup semi-final against France.
The museum, whose construction began in March 2021, also contains an exhibition hall with 42 seats, a VIP room, and a research and documentation sports center. His Majesty King Mohammed VI is committed to conserving and enhancing Morocco's historical, cultural, and sports heritage. Tony Kwalanda, TV47, Saleh City in Morocco.
Thank you for taking us to Morocco for a moment, Tony Kwalanda. We have got to close TV47 Weekend Edition at this very point. Lots of feedback from you. We appreciate that you could be part of the broadcast. But at this very point, we must say kwaheri as we prepare and set everything ready for you tomorrow. My name is Linda Alela. It was great having you, appreciating the team that has made the broadcast a success, including our sign language interpreter, Catherine Simaloi. Do have yourself a lovely night and a great week ahead.